Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Doesn't it seem like Tuesdays come around so quickly anymore? Well, I hope you're well and safe during this COVID pandemic. I've been sharing some of my experiences in the Holy Land. Before I went to the Holy Land, I didn't know what to experience. I'd never been to the Middle East before, and I didn't know what to expect, and I wanted to experience God in new and exciting ways. I wasn't sure where or how I would feel or experience God's presence. One of the places that I expected to feel God's presence and experience God's presence in a really good way was the Jordan River. Now, the Jordan River holds major significance to Judaism and Christianity, since the Bible says that the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the Promised Land, and that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist in it. The Jordan River plays an important role in the Old Testament as the border of the land that God gives to the Israelites. And in the New Testament, John the Baptist's baptism of Jesus forms a turning point in the life of Christ and marks a defining event in the Christian church. As the boundary of the Holy Land and the site of the baptism of Jesus, the Jordan River is a source of all holy water in Christianity. For centuries, pilgrims have traveled long distances to immerse themselves in the river, and even today, nearly 1 million visitors annually flock to the 3 baptism sites in Israel, Jordan, and the Palestinian West Bank to follow in the footsteps of Christ. Early Christian writers asserted that Christ's immersion in the Jordan River sanctified the river's water, which in turn made all of the river water holy. The Jordan was seen as the prototypical river of life, but also the site of a divine manifestation of God. For just as water had been the primeval element that witnessed God's creation, the Jordan had witnessed the beginning of the Gospels. Now, the tour group that I was with at the Holy Land was a Presbyterian group, and when we arrived at the baptismal site, we went to a covered gathering area for a worship service. Water from the Jordan River was gathered and used to baptize all of us Presbyterian style, which means several ministers in our group administered crosses on our foreheads. Here's Sue Patrick and I being baptized Presbyterian style at the worship service. And this is the entire group that we were with at the Jordan River. That's Jordan, this is Israel. Now, after we were baptized, we went down with the throngs of people to the Jordan River. Now, I want to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed because the river was all fenced off and only a small little area, only this small little area right here was accessible. And there we went with the throngs of people that were in white baptismal gowns waiting to dip themselves in the river. Now, Israel had had a whole lot of water, a lot of rain, and the water was really high. It was all the way up to the steps. And when Sue Patrick and I bent down to put our hands in the water, we both stumbled back, sitting in the Jordan River. I guess you could say we were baptized from the bottom up. Now, I know this is a very significant place for Christianity, and I agree. The country of Jordan was just across the river, maybe 4 car lengths, and the border tension with Jordan was really great and prevented free access to the river. I don't know what I expected when I visited the Jordan River. I think I was slightly disappointed because of all the restrictions, and there was just that very tiny little section that was accessible, and there were so many people. When Sue and I went down to the water, we just wanted to put our hands in the river. Instead, we sat in the river. And we began to laugh so hard, it kind of put a damper on the whole experience for me. My slight disappointment in my experience at the Jordan River has made me think about our future here after COVID-19. I think many of us will be somewhat disappointed when things may never be the same as they were before COVID-19. What's worse is that we have no idea what things will look like or when we can assume any semblance of normalcy to our lives, and this in itself causes some stress. We all have expectations for our families, We expect our children to do their best at school and we expect them to be good, kind, and generous people. We expect our work environment to be one where we find fulfillment and encouragement. We expect our relationships with our significant others to be reciprocal in our love and care. And we expect our church to be the environment we need to grow spiritually by having a church building, classes, and services that meet our spiritual needs. Our expectations go on and on. This prompted me to ask a question. What are our expectations of God? Do we trust God to see us through this pandemic? Do we believe that God will guide us during this time of not knowing what's in the future? Are we expecting God to provide a miracle vaccine to be found immediately? Are we expecting our Winfrey Church services, small groups, and programs to be exactly like they were before this pandemic? This prompted me to ask another question. What if these expectations are not met? How will we respond? How will we move into the future? Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Though we may not know what lay ahead, I pray that all of us will trust that God knows our future and God is with us through all of this. There may be some times of disappointment as we move into a new normal. We will need to be flexible and adapt to new things. Yes, I know there's comfort in sameness and in what we know, but there is also excitement in new things, in new ways of doing and being. My prayer for all of us is that we will embrace the newness that may lay ahead and face it with excitement, not disappointment. Numbers 6:24-26. May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord make His face shine upon all of us and be gracious to us. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon us and give us all peace.